Aristotle on the end of man. I'm going to read just a couple of short excerpts from Book 10 of the Nicomachean Ethics. They're from chapters 7 and 8. Just so you have the Becker numbers, I'm going to start around 1177, Bravo 15. I'm going to skip a couple things and then end around 1179, Alpha 33. And I won't give commentary, but I just want to begin by saying that this is really a remarkable expression of Aristotle's conviction about what the full flourishing of human nature is in contemplation. So if among virtuous actions, political and military actions are distinguished by nobility and greatness, and these are unleisurely and aim at an end and are not desirable for their own sake, but the activity of reason, which is contemplative, seems both to be superior in serious worth and to aim at no end beyond itself, and to have its pleasure proper to itself. And this augments the activity. And the self-sufficiency, leisureliness, unweariedness, so far as this is possible for man, and all the other attributes ascribed to the supremely happy man are evidently those connected with this activity. It follows that this will be the complete happiness of man if it be allowed a complete term of life, for none of the attributes of happiness is incomplete. But such a life would be too high for man, for it is not insofar as he is man that he will live so, but insofar as something divine is present in him. And by so much as this is superior to our composite nature, is its activity superior to that which is the exercise of the other kind of virtue. If reason is divine, then in comparison with mine, the life according to it is divine in comparison with human life. But we must not follow those who advise us, being men, to think of human things and being mortal of mortal things, but must, so far as we can, make ourselves immortal and strain every nerve to live in accordance with the best thing in us. For even if it be small in bulk, much more does it in power and worth surpass everything. This would seem, too, to be each man himself, since it is the authoritative and better part of him. It would be strange, then, if he were to choose not the life of his self, but that of something else. And what we said before will apply now. That which is proper to each thing is by nature best and most pleasant for each thing. For man, therefore, the life according to reason is best and pleasantest, since reason, more than anything else, is man. This life, therefore, is also the happiest. I skip now the beginning of section 8 and go partway through and do the second half, and we'll stop there. But that perfect happiness is a contemplative activity will appear from the following consideration as well. We assume the gods to be above all other beings blessed and happy. But what sort of actions must we assign to them? Acts of justice? Will not the gods seem absurd if they make contracts and return deposits and so on? Acts of a brave man, then, confronting dangers and running risks because it is noble to do so? Or liberal acts? To whom will they give? It will be strange if they are really to have money or anything of the kind. And what would their temperate acts be? Is not such praise tasteless, since they have no bad appetites? If we were to run through them all, the circumstances of action would be found trivial and unworthy of gods. Action there means practical action. Still, everyone supposes that they live, and therefore that they are active. we cannot suppose them to sleep like Endymion. Now, if you take away from a living being action, and still more production, what is left but contemplation? Therefore, the activity of God, which surpasses all others in blessedness, must be contemplative. And of human activities, therefore, that which is most akin to this must be the most of the nature of happiness. This is indicated too by the fact that the other animals have no share in happiness, being completely deprived of such activity. For while the whole life of the gods is blessed, and that of men too, insofar as some likeness of such activity belongs to them, none of the other animals is happy, since they in no way share in contemplation. Happiness extends then just so far as contemplation does, and those to whom contemplation more fully belongs are more truly happy, not as a mere concomitant, but in virtue of the contemplation, for this is in itself precious. Happiness, therefore, must be some form of contemplation. But being a man, one will also need external prosperity, for our nature is not self-sufficient for the purpose of contemplation. But our body must also be healthy and must have food and other attention. Still, we must not think that man who is to be happy will need many things or great things, merely because he cannot be supremely happy without external goods. For self-sufficiency and action do not involve excess, and we can do noble acts without ruling earth and sea. For even with moderate advantages, one can act virtuously. This is manifest enough. For private persons are thought to do worthy acts no less than despots, indeed even more. And it is enough that we should have so much as that. For the life of the man who is active in accordance with virtue will be happy. Solon, too, was perhaps sketching well the happy man when he described him as moderately furnished with externals, but as having done, as Solon thought, the noblest acts, and lived temperately. For one can, with but moderate possessions, do what one ought. And Exagoras also seems to suppose the happy man not to be rich nor a despot, when he said that he would not be surprised if the happy man were to seem to most people a strange person, for they judge by externals, since these are all they perceive. The opinions of the wise seem, then, to harmonize with our arguments, for while even such things carry some conviction, the truth in practical matters is discerned from the facts of life, for these are the decisive factor. We must, therefore, survey what we have already said, bringing it to the test of the facts of life, and if it harmonizes with the facts, we must accept it. But if it clashes with them, we must suppose it to be mere theory. Now he who exercises his reason and cultivates it seems to be both in the best state of mind and most dear to the gods. For if the gods have any care for human affairs, as they are thought to have, it would be reasonable both that they should delight in that which was best and most akin to them, that is, reason, and that they should reward those who love and honor this most, as caring for the things that are dear to them and acting both rightly and nobly. And that all these attributes belong most of all to the philosopher, the lover of wisdom, is manifest. He, therefore, is the dearest to the gods, and he who is that will presumably be also the happiest, so that in this way, too, the philosopher will more than any other be happy. Thus Aristotle in Book 10 of the Nicomachean Ethics.